He went through the story and said, what kind of thing have you written? People just keep walking in and walking out. I said, I'm so sorry, but that's the way it was. And if you want me to document it as history, then I have to report it as it was. So this was one battle in which it started with about 10 or 12 people attacking the first police post. Then it got added, people got added on till they were about 29 when they attacked Silvassa, which is the capital of the Portuguese territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli. This is where 100 people came in from Pune again, who went back after 2 days. And then out of these 29 people, 17 went back and there were only 12 left over. So this kind of coming and going has continued through the story, because that's the way the battle was fought. So the number of characters is defined by the fact that that's the way they did it. The court stayed there and the periphery kept shifting all the time. So the challenge now was, in this book, actually since you've talked about the storytelling part, the challenge in this case, in the footsteps of Ram, it was much simpler. Because after all, we were telling stories. They were either stories of my travel, or they were stories of my interaction with people, or they were stories from the Ramayana. Now here we are telling people hardcore history, but the challenge is to keep it interesting. Because I did not want it to be A led to B, B led to C, and therefore D happened and E happened and the book is over. I wanted it to be readable. So in order to, I suppose to make it readable, since I could take zero liberty with the content, I took a little bit of liberty with the style. And that is where these teasers at the end of every chapter. There was no other way to keep people engaged in the book. So I think the Tribune did a very lovely review of this, and they said it is a piece of history which reads like a thriller. I think that was the ultimate compliment.
Tell us, would you recommend Dadra and Nagar Haveli as a possible tourist destination for the Punjabis? You've been there. Would it be a preferred tourist destination?
Only if you went with reference to the book. Otherwise, when I went there, after we had completed the research part of it, I asked Deepak Bhai, my friend there, कि यहाँ पे देखने के लिए क्या है? तो उन्होंने बोला एक लायन सफारी है, लेकिन उसके लायन 2 साल पहले मर गए.
Would it be better off with Portuguese?
Not really, because now people can breathe free. There are schools, there are highways. People get employment. They are not flogged for the smallest reasons. In the case of the Portuguese, though we have known the British, we talk about Jallianwala Bagh and such stuff and tell you about how the British were actually committing atrocities. But compared to the Portuguese, they seem like angels. And the Portuguese ran one of the most repressive regimes ever anywhere in the world. So these local Wadli tribals were so badly oppressed. They were made to work 12, 14 hours at a stretch. If they wanted to even take a toilet break, they were whipped. And they had these Portuguese, these Wadli tribal men had long hair. So their braided hair were tied to their toes. And they were made to stand like that in the sun. They were often hung upside down from trees and whipped. And all forms of things were done. Now, when they had small pieces of land, and the Portuguese or the Patels, the large landlords who were allied with the Portuguese, would often give them loans when the rains failed. And these loans were given by a scheme called Khavti. Khavti meant that if you take 1 kg of grain from me this year, next year you give me back 2.5 kg. So under that, since nobody was able to pay them, all the land went to the landlords.
Yes.
And all of a sudden the tribals had nothing at all. And after that too, whenever the Patel or the Portuguese felt like it, they would send soldiers into the Wadli villages and take away their chicken, their goats, even their women. So it was a very repressive regime that was there. Now they breathe free and they have schools and they have jobs and they have roads and they have employment and they have food to eat and they are happy.
Padare